Let's start with what we do know. Terrified civilians fleeing Tehran, a vast metropolis of some 10 million. The US president warning overnight by way of a social media post, everyone evacuate now. But where to? Wondered those stuck in nose-to-tail traffic. There's little footage available from Iran, where hundreds of civilians are now thought to have been killed by Israeli attacks. But this is what became of the state's broadcaster. A reporter, hands smeared in blood, after the attack that reportedly left at least 2 dead, saying, "I don't know how many of my colleagues were inside. I was on the first floor when the bombing happened." It had sent the on-air presenter scurrying for cover. Also making a hasty exit, but for reasons as yet unclear, President Trump abruptly leaving the G7, where leaders had just issued a communiqué backing Israel, but pointedly not calling for a ceasefire. French President Macron setting a hopeful tone.
An offer has been made to have a ceasefire and to initiate broader discussions, and I think this is a very good thing.
But so much for G7 unity. The US president then posting on socials, publicity-seeking Macron of France mistakenly said, "I left to work on a ceasefire." Wrong. He has no idea why I'm on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Much bigger than that. Now to what we don't know. Landing in Washington, it still wasn't clear what Trump meant.
What specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
An end, a real end, not a ceasefire. An end.
So something that would be permanent.
Yeah, or giving up entirely. That's okay too.
But if Iran retaliates against US targets, a red line.
We'll come down so hard if they do anything to our people. We'll come down so hard that the gloves are off so beautifully. Now, I think they know not to touch our troops.
There are reports his golfing partner and envoy Steve Witkoff will meet the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi later this week. On state TV, Araghchi called for Europe to condemn Israel's blatant aggression and slammed what it called leniency towards Israel by the West. By any objective measure, Israel is winning this conflict and appears to be acting with relative impunity, claiming to have killed Iranian military commander Ali Shadmani last night. He'd only just taken over as Joint Operations Chief after his predecessor, Gholami Rashid, was assassinated last week.
So are you going to target the Supreme Leader?
Look, we're doing what we need to do. I'm not going to get into the details.
But U.S. officials tell us that the president flatly rejected a plan, an opportunity that the Israelis had to take out the Supreme Leader. Do you understand his concern? My understanding is his concern is that this would escalate the conflict beyond where it is already.
It's not going to escalate the conflict. It's going to end the conflict.
The salvo of missiles heading to Tel Aviv last night from Iran was much reduced. Netanyahu's gamble, ostensibly to thwart Iran's nuclear ambitions, may be paying off. But there's still every chance this conflict metastasizes. Will Iran close the Straits of Hormuz, for example, threatening global energy supplies? But as we've seen, Trumpism is America First isolationism, and his MAGA cheerleaders will not want the US to get directly embroiled in another conflict, despite some in his world who've been whispering regime change in Iran for decades. I'm joined now by Dr. Siavush Ranjbar Demi, who is a senior lecturer in modern Middle Eastern and modern Iranian history at the University of St. Andrews. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. What does Iran do now?
Well, in Iran is in a very tough bind. It keeps shooting these missiles at Israel. It claims that it's on the verge of using more advanced missiles against Israel. But these now number in the 30 to 40, I think, per batch. So it's slightly decreasing in number. At the same time, Israel keeps attacking. It's going well beyond the initial stated intention of attacking nuclear installations, military installations. It's starting to look a bit like Gaza and Beirut in the sense that targets very close to residential areas or even residential areas are being hit. Central Tehran is being under attack again. Apparently, they're again hitting targets close to the big radio TV complex that was struck yesterday, as we saw. So it seems that there's an evolution. The Israeli plans are evolving, and in the middle we have this attitude by Donald Trump that's hard to decipher, I think, in Tehran as well. At times he seems keen on some form of negotiation. At others, he seems to be, especially in the last few hours, pouring cold water over it.
One of the things that it is to some degree disputed, but this idea that President Trump vetoed an Israeli plan to target the supreme leader, has that discussion landed in Tehran, in Iran? What will Iranians make of this idea that the Israelis want to assassinate the supreme leader?
Well, it's difficult to say, but what we're seeing since Friday is a continued spate of assassinations. So today, the replacement of one of the generals that was killed at the very beginning of the offensive on Friday apparently was assassinated. That's what the IDF claims. The Iranians haven't confirmed it yet. That hasn't finished. Iran hasn't managed yet to fix the intelligence situation. A new order went round today claiming that all government figures and their bodyguards have to immediately cease using any device which is connected to public networks, public mobile networks. So clearly there's a lot of suspicion regarding communications.
Mossad has clearly infiltrated very, very deeply to be able to do what Israel has done.
Yes, and that is being admitted. For example, yesterday, the parliament speaker, who is a former senior IRGC figure himself, admitted it pretty much during a parliamentary session. This cannot be denied anymore. So that's part of the problem here. It's not simply the purely military issue of defending against Israeli incursions, shooting missiles into Israel. There's also this intelligence aspect, which we should remember has worsened since last August, and it was only last August, so less than a year ago, when Ismail Haniyeh, the Hamas leader, was assassinated in Tehran. This has been an ongoing crisis which hasn't been really resolved.
Israel clearly appears to have the upper hand. Do you think that this is going to force either of two things? Iran giving up its nuclear program, its nuclear ambitions, and or this idea that actually this is about regime change?
Well, Israel seems very keen on progressing this military offensive. It so far has faced very little opposition to this idea from Europe and the United States. No concrete opposition to this idea, no reining in of Israel or that sort. Israel clearly will not mount a land offensive. So if this regime change has to happen, it has to happen through a very sustained bombing campaign that starts to hit oil infrastructure, the target assassinations have to go up a notch. They have to start killing very senior political figures. But there doesn't seem to be a political endgame here. Israel doesn't have a ready-made alternative, a political alternative with which to replace the Islamic Republic. I don't think a regime change, anybody riding on the shoulders of such an Israeli offensive, which is, remember, causing a lot of civilian victims, terrorizing the Iranian population, the world is causing mass exodus from Tehran and possibly other cities, will result in a new leadership, a new state system, which will be accepted.
So in your view, a credible alternative leadership simply doesn't exist?
Not at the moment, no. I don't see anything on the horizon that can... Of course, we have opposition figures. We have some elements of the Iranian opposition in exile. We have a lively dissident civil society, which is very different from, say, the son of the Shah, Reza Pahlavi. There is an opposition to the Islamic Republic, one that can pick up the pieces of a country which we shouldn't forget had a very serious economic crisis, was isolated from the world economy and more before this crisis even started, and could fix these issues. Is tough to see unless there is some form of grassroots civil society emerging, but that cannot occur in the interim, and that sort of transition cannot occur in the midst of a bombing campaign and an assassination campaign.
Dr. Ranjbar Demi of St. Andrews University, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. You're welcome.
Okay. Now we all heard about Donald Trump was talking about, going into his private chambers or whatever have you to what are they called? Damn, I forget the name of it. What they have to go in and talk at the war table of how they're going to do this. Now, Donald Trump, Agent Orange, he knows for a fact that the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai controls all these things. And even if he doesn't know, he'll know by the end of it all. Okay? Let's go to Psalms Isaiah. Is it Isaiah? Yeah, let me see. No, Psalms. Yeah, no, it was Isaiah. I was right. Isaiah, I'm just going off of memory. 55. Right. Verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. My thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, saith the Lord, and my ways are far beyond anything you can imagine. For just as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. Okay? So the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is in control of this whole thing. The reason why he's bringing about this third world war is so this way it would free the children of Israel while simultaneously destroying the entire infrastructure on a global scale of all of the heathen nations that held us down. Let's get a laundry list of the heathen nations. Psalm 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. The reason why the heathen nations hate the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and they fear to call upon his name, because the name of the Lord is dreadful amongst the heathen. Let's get that one right quick. There it is. Malachi 1 and 14. Be cursed, be the deceiver, which hath in his flock a male and voweth, and sacrificeth unto the Lord a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, saith the Lord of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen. And the Lord of hosts' name is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the creator of the heavens, the earth, the sea, all that is therein, and the foundations of water. Okay? He created all things. He's the potter who creates the clay, and he does whatever he wants with the clay. Okay? He controls the minds and hearts of men as well. So by him bringing about this war, will bring about the simultaneous destruction of all of the enemies of Israel, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? And while at the same time free us from, captivity in the lands of drawing water, where we have to go to work every day in order to feed our families, right? Psalm 83, verse 2, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And Agent Orange is about to go into the situation war room. That's what I was trying to get to. The situation war room, okay, to take crafty counsel against the people of the Lord simultaneously, while at the same time trying to avoid direct conflict with the Caramanians, because the Caramanians are protected and have an umbrella of protection of Vladimir Putin, which is Gog and Magog in Ezekiel 38. Okay? These Edomite Caucasian Christians ain't going to put these things together through the Holy Spirit. They're going to put it together carnally, because they think with a carnal mindset. And what they were taught was supersessionism. They were taught in 1948. They were taught that Edomites, Caucasians, have been scattered all over the fucking world. But see, that's what I don't get. They don't understand the fact that how can you be scattered when you're the ones taking over all of the people's nations, lands, countries, and you're all the same fucking people. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. You got France took over, The Europeans took over. The Bolshevik Russians took over. You're all the same goddamn Edomite Caucasian people. Okay, all you people were ran into the mountains of the Caucasus in Ukraine. Okay, which is the heart of Ukraine is the Caucasus Mountains. Okay, and you were ran there. That's in South Russia. Okay, it baffles the brain how these people think that they are God's chosen people just because through the Balfour Declaration that allow these goddamn devils to just go in and just take whatever they want. Okay, let me see if I can find that Balfour Declaration. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see, where is it at? That Balfour Declaration. Hold on. Is that it? Nope. That shows the name of the Father. Is that it? Boop. Yep. Balfour Declaration. 1917. This is what allows these goddamn Amalekite Khazars that call themselves Jews and are not, but do lie, to take land that does not belong to them. Because Great Britain, right, those Edomite Caucasians over there, they're talking about going to civil war because the same thing that happened here in America is happening to them now. Okay, where you have an influx of all of these so-called illegal immigrants, and the people are upset, and they're trying to peacefully protest, and they're threatening civil war against the authorities. Right now, the Balfour Declaration, 1917. One of the most important statements of British foreign policy of the 20th century, the Balfour Declaration was no more than a short, vague letter that had no legal status. So the people over there that call themselves Jews and are not have no legal status. They have no legality. There is no law that says that they can just take that land from the so-called Palestinians, but actually it's the land of the Israel of the Most High God. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's our land, not theirs. Okay? It had not been debated in Parliament, yet it was one of the most significant events leading ultimately to the creation of the State of Israel and a conflict between Jews and Arabs. Is this not what's going on? A conflict between the so-called Jews and the Arabs, aka Ishmael? Right? In this letter of November the 2nd, 1917, Britain's Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour wrote to Lord Lionel Walter Rothschild, in a figurehead of the Ish community in Britain. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Ish people. You see what I'm saying? That has no legal status. A short, vague letter that had no legal status. Okay? Okay. So it's illegal for these people to inhabit a land that does not belong to them. Did not Esau, Edom, the so-called white man here in America, do the same thing to the indigenous population of people that were already here? In the name of manifest destiny and Jeebus crossed, okay, exterminated through genocide the 250 plus million people, then brought 200 and plus million so-called blacks from the west coast of Africa over here in chains to build up this bullshit society for them. Come on, man. Okay? These people have no legal status no matter where they are, man. They are vagabonds, thieves, and murderers in the earth. And they have never had to give account for the things that they've done. From continent to continent to continent, from people to people to people. Okay? His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Ish people, and will use their best endeavors, right? War, death, and war, right? John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not before to steal, kill, and to destroy, right? These are their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object. Okay? Steal land and claim it's theirs. where to get that from. That just popped in my head. Let's get it. What is that? What is it? Psalms 49. You know it. And 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. You see? These people are thieves and murderers, man. They don't know anything else but to steal, kill, and to destroy. Right? For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. The hidden ones are here in America. Okay, the vast majority of the people, because you have Israelites scattered all over abroad, all over the earth, as it is written in James chapter 1, verse 1, and 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 1. Our people are scattered everywhere. Okay, they're called the hidden ones in Psalm 83 because they're not aware that they are the Israelites of the Holy Bible. Okay, they're still ignorant at that fact and believe that they are blacks, Africans, Ghanaians, Ethiopians, whatever. Now, you have Israelites that live amongst these people. Okay, let me get a biblical scripture. I always go back to the same one, dog. Okay. Interlinear. I don't even know if interlinear still works. Oh, it works. Hey. Okay. The dispersed. Right? Dispersed.
Strong's G1290. Diaspora. Diaspora.
Diaspora. Diaspora. A scattering, a dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. Right? And where it says Christians scattered among the Gentiles, it's basically the same thing because, right? Remember, well, it's not the same thing, but it's similar. Just put it that way. Because Paul and Barnabas were first called Christians at Antioch, right? Okay, now, we all know that Paul is an Israelite, okay, from the tribe of Benjamin, although he's a Roman citizen. He's a Benjamite living amongst the Romans at Rome. You understand? Israelites dispersed among foreign nations, just like us as so-called blacks, Israelites living in America. We're not Americans. Okay? We're not African Americans. You can't be from two separate continents. It's bullshit. Okay? They used to call us colored. They used to call us blacks. They used to call us all kinds of different shit, man. Okay? I mean, they still do, right to this day. Right? It is being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-ish communities in Palestine. Okay? It being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities. But what is Benjamin Netanyahu doing in the world? Like you saw in the video. He's prejudicing the civil and religious liberties and rights of the existing non-ish community by stealing Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by JEWs in other countries. This letter was incorporated within the terms of Britain's mandate for Palestine and so became a legal requirement upon Britain. So Great Britain, EU and NATO, aka, are not holding up their end of the bargain and allowing this goddamn Bibi Kowalski, aka Benjamin not a Jew, to run rampant like a fucking madman. Okay? Like a wild man, stealing and just taking and destroying whatever he wants whenever the fuck he feels like. Okay? So the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, is going to exterminate these devils, man. They got to go, man. Look, here's another one. Okay? You paying attention? See the people? Salakia. Hey, Salakia for all of that, all of the distractions. Okay, but, you know, clearly, I had to go and get another tire put on the car. I'm like, golly, man. So Jacob's Trouble's finna sock everybody in his fucking head. But anyway, I just wanted to, put my 2 cents in on the least of the flock. You see these motherfuckers right here, right? They're frauds. These people are not the chosen people of the Most High God. Let me ask you a question. I mean, it's a silly question, but I just wanted to see if you would answer it. Put it on my comment board if you got the testicular fortitude. I don't give a shit. If these motherfuckers was God's chosen people, why are they asking for help from America? Why are they asking for help from fucking Macron, who's a booty buddy? Why are they asking help from perverts and pedophiles? Please explain that. Okay, murderers and thugs and thieves. The United States is goddamn history itself teaches you that these people stole the land from the indigenous population of people that were already here. Look, man, they make cowboy and Indian movies about how the white man stole everything from the people whose land this land belonged to. How they stole it. What they did to the indigenous, the movies with Clint Eastwood, motherfucking Kirk Douglas, John Wayne, John Glenn, James Cagney, Humphrey Bogart, all, goddamn it, you name it. Well, James Cagney and Humphrey Bogart were portraying the gangsters and back in the 1920s and the 1930s, and those individuals were the ish from what is it, Nostra Nostra, whatever. Fuck it, I got some proof on that shit. Hold on, let me get Nostra Nostra. Where is that at? Yep. See, let me make a stop. Boom. America was born in genocide. Why is the people, if they calling themselves God's chosen people, why are they asking for America's help, who are also complicit in the genocide? Okay, bathed in murder, racism, blood, and violence. The biggest genocide is in human history didn't occur in Nazi Germany, but on American soil. Okay, look, 100 million Native Americans were slaughtered and lost their homeland. 60 to 120 million Native inhabitants exterminated by illegal immigrant settlers. Who the fuck were the illegal immigrant settlers? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Have y'all forgot about that? That's the real Holocaust. But goddamn it, you got these Amalekite Khazars that go from country to country to country, and what do? They push pedophilia, lesbianism, Moism, pedophilia, bestiality, and necrophilia. Okay, and then once they get a power hold or a structure where they control a central bank in your country, then they control you and they spread wicked laws and decrees. And then when the people buck up against them, they say, "Oh my God!" They play the goddamn victim, right? You get sick and tired of these motherfuckers, man, playing the victim. You can't be playing the victim all the time. Okay, bullshit. Every time somebody do something you don't like, you the victim. Where is it said? I forget where it's at. Goddamn. Where's they say? Damn, I forgot the name of it. It's in here somewhere. About the yeah, they put supersessionism. Okay, let me see it. Trying to see where it's at. I forgot the name of the victim that they try to play. Yeah, but that's what they try to do, man. Okay. Bigotry. Okay. Check this out. I want y'all, okay, let me see if I can switch this around. I don't think I can because it's recording. So I wish I could, but I can't. But so that their own tongue should fall upon themselves, like it says in Psalm 64:8. Okay. And then it goes into where's it one? I think it's another Job 15 and 7, 15 and 6. Let me see. Job. Salaki, I'm sorry about being all over the place, man, but that's how it comes out. Job 15, verse 6. Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I, yet thine own lips testify against thee, right? Thine own lips testify against you, right? Your words are based on clever deception. Your sins are telling your mouth what to say, okay? Okay, and this motherfucking B.B. Kowalski gets up in front of the entire world and tells the entire world why he bombed the Iranians that have no... and don't get me wrong, they have nuclear capability, but Iran is taking the first strike. Or not Iran, but Israel, right? Listen to this. We do not halt Israel's genocide, right? Genocide, right? Because we as Americans are Israel, infected with the same white supremacy and intoxicated by our domination of the globe and the power to obliterate others with our advanced weaponry. The vaunted democratic values, morality, and respect for human rights claimed by Israel and the United States has always been a lie. Okay? The real credo is this. We have everything, and if you try to take it from us, we will unalive you. Okay? People of color, especially when they are and vulnerable, do not count. Their hopes, dignity, and aspirations for those outside the empire are worthless. So you see, Stockholm Syndrome is worthless. Okay, and that's what our people do. They're stuck with Stockholm Syndrome in the brain. They love Esau's goddamn dirty draft water. You hear me? And they will not, by any means necessary, stop being nice to these devils. Let these devils walk all over them. They lay down and make themselves flat with the ground. Stockholm Syndrome, feelings of trust or affection felt in many cases of kidnapping or hostage taking by a victim towards their captors. Okay, and who was the captor? Idumea, Edom, the Edomites, right? A land south and southeast of Palestine, right? Right? It's not the land that they call Israel, southeast of Palestine. These people are extremists, but they say that individuals that get on the street corners and preach against them are we're extremists. We're domestic domestic thugs, right? And we're not. We just preach out of a Bible. What the hell? I mean, I didn't think anything was wrong with that, but whatever. The rest of the world can't understand because when we claim that we're the Israelites of the Holy Bible, they can't get it. The reason why they can't get it and they don't understand it, let's go get some more proof. The reason why they can't get it and they can't understand, look what they did with the Latinos. Look what they did to us. Right? Look what they did to us. See? Okay? They did this to the indigenous population of people that was already here too. About 150, 200 years before they came and got us. Motherfuckers in 1492. But for us claiming that we're the Israelites is esoteric knowledge. Adjective, esoteric knowledge, intended for or likely to be understood only by a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. Right? Mystery, a hidden thing. Secret mysteries, generally mysteries or religious secrets confided only to the initiated and not to ordinary mortals. Not obvious to the understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in dealing with the righteous, which are hidden from ungodly and wicked men, but plain to the godly. Okay? See? This is what they did to us, man. Come on now. On a slave ship. Look at that. They're going to force a man to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster after they done beat him and smashed him to death. Force him to eat the bullshit. Come on, man. Look, man. Who's the fucking oppressor? Kind of pale pink type of people, right? But you motherfuckers, oh, they're God's chosen people. Yeah, okay. Then you wonder why people get mad and pissed off all over again. Shit. Take a man's baby, beat him to death, and sell it to some fucking pervert. This is the history. Okay? And you talk shit. Well, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. Yeah, Egypt was a long time ago. The Hamites, they used to beat the shit out of us too. Right? But now the white man is beating. We got yokes of trains of iron around our neck, hands, and feet. Look, what's changed? What's changed? Look at the picture. Ain't nothing changed, man. But the oppressor. They're still oppressors, and both of the oppressors, the ones who got whip in their hand, they both got to pay for it, man. They got to pay for what they did to us. Motherfuckers know what they were doing. They knew who we were to start with. Okay. Now, what was I looking for? I had the Balfour Declaration. I forgot what I was looking for, but that's all good. Check this out. Okay. Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. See notably Isaiah 34 and 5 and 6, Isaiah 63 and 1. She, Edom, who figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures, is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from God. The motherfuckers ain't going to get any mercy from the Most High. Let's see. Okay, let me do it like that. Hold on. Mercy rejoiceth. Right, James chapter 2 verse 13. For he shall have judgment without mercy, that hath showed no mercy. And mercy rejoiceth against judgment. See? So the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is not going to give these bastards any mercy. They can fucking hang it up. And what I was meaning by the hidden ones, okay, that have esoteric knowledge, that are initiated, these secrets dealing with the righteous, which are hidden for the ungodly, are the Israelites. Okay? Those are individuals. For he shall have judgment without mercy, that hath showed no mercy. Okay? Do you think B.B. Kowalski, this Edomite devil over to the far right of your screen, do you think that son of a bitch, he shows mercy? Look at Donald Trump. Okay, come on, man. Look at the screen. Ain't no mercy in that shit. So the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, when he gets here, ain't going to show them no mercy, man. Ain't going to happen. Right? Let's go back to Psalms 83. Salaki about my alarm clock going off. Okay. Psalm 83 and 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. These motherfuckers don't want us around, man. That's crazy, huh? But that's what it is, man. They don't want us around. They want to destroy us from off the face of the earth for all time, And all of the other heathen nations are complicit in our destruction. They don't have a problem with it. Okay? Let's go get it. Where's it at? Lamentations chapter 2, verse 15, wasn't it? Right? All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? How can we be the joy of the whole earth when our men are killing each other? Young men are exterminating each other in the street, gang banging, shooting each other where blood touches blood. Like it says in the book of Hosea, chapter 4. You know, verses 1 and 2. Right? And then, you know, you got our women out there showing their cleavage and showing their booty and their booty cheeks and wearing fake hair and shit. You know, wearing all kind of makeup and doing all kinds of evil and iniquity. Stabbing their man in the back, all kinds of shit through adultery. Come on now. Lamentations chapter 2 verse 16. All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. And the enemies, we found out, we'll go back over here to Psalm 83 and find out who they are. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. Verse 17, the Lord hath done that which he hath devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down, he hath not pitied. He hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He has set up the horn of thine adversaries. And our people don't even see it. They suffer from Stockholm Syndrome. You know, they ain't got a clue. Okay. What is it called? The professional victim. These Amalekite Khazars call themselves professional victims all the goddamn times. Matter of fact, let's go get it. Professional victim. Professional victim. Definition. A professional victim is a term used to describe someone who consistently portrays themselves as a victim in various situations, often exaggerating their own suffering or blaming others for their problems, right? They may struggle to take personal responsibility and instead deflect blame onto external factors or other people. Is this not what B.B. Kowalski, a.k.a. Benjamin Nothing Not a Jew, okay, doing to the Iranian people, to the Palestinians, to the people in Gaza? Okay? These are the external factors in the other people that they're deflecting the blame of what they're doing because they refuse to take personal responsibility for genocide, God damn it. This behavior can be a way to manipulate others. Okay? That's how the least of the flock, B.B. Kowalski and the Israeli Amalekite converts, these liars, are going to draw America into World War III. Once America gets involved, Russia's going to get involved directly. It'll be direct motherfucking War III. That's the reason why Donald Trump, why I said earlier in the video, is going into the Situation Room in order to devise a strategy and devise crafty counsel, okay, against the peoples of the world, the peoples of the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, who are Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. When they do go into that Situation Room, it's war, man. When they do these G7 summits, okay, that's war that they want to wage against God's chosen people, because our people number as the sands of the sea, yet only a remnant of them shall return. Only a remnant shall be saved. That's it. And only those that call upon the name of the Lord. That is the esoteric knowledge that I was referring to. Let me get that, okay? This behavior can be a way to manipulate others, seek attention, or avoid accountability. Victim mentality. The core of the professional victim is a victim mentality, where they perceive themselves as constantly wronged or unfairly treated. How the fuck are they unfairly treated? They're over there bombing the shit out of people that can't fight back. Okay? They're bombing the leadership of a different country. How the fuck are they unfairly treated? Being what the word anti, SEM, okay, ETIC, doesn't exist. Okay, it's a newspeak word that was created by Mort Steinschneider in. Let's get it. Let me see if I can find it. It was founded by Mort Steinschneider. If I can find a picture, I can just blow it up for you. Hold on. Mort Steinschneider in 1860. The anti-S word, anti-Semitic word, whatever, fuck. Okay? That's when it was created. It was created by Mort Steinschneider. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it at? There he is. Boom, right there. Subversive Jewish writer Mort Steinschneider invented the term anti-Semitic in 1860. The term is used to silence those that dare to excuse ish crimes. Right? Okay. Check this out. This is what they always crying, right? Okay. Look, S-E-M-I-T-E-T-I-C. Salakia. I misspelled it. It's a trick. We always use it to stifle legitimate criticism of the JEJOOs in Zionist Israel. Okay? It's a trick. We always use it. When from Europe, Great Britain, if someone is criticizing Israel, we bring up the Holocaust. When in this country, people are criticizing Israel, then they are anti-S word. And the organization is strong and has a lot of money, and the ties between Israel and the American-ish establishment are very strong, and they are strong in this country. Now, let's go back over here and finish reading what I was... Salakia. Every time I go to hitting Satan's kicking him in the nuts, but the truth, you know what I'm saying? I get all these goddamn outside distractions every time. It never fails. Okay, check this out. So that their own tongue shall fall upon themselves, right? Psalm 64:8. We do not halt Israel's genocide because we as Americans are Israel, infected with the same white supremacy and intoxicated by our domination of the globe and the power to obliterate others with our advanced weaponry, right? The vaunted democratic values, morality, and respect for human rights claimed by Israel and the United States has always been a lie. The real credo is this: we have everything, and if you try to take it from us, we will unalive you. People of color, especially when they are vulnerable, do not count. Their hopes, dignity, and aspirations for those outside the empire are worthless. Hopes, dignity, and aspirations our people have is in the form of Stockholm Syndrome, where they have developed feelings for their captors. Okay, after several generations of being in captivity, that's what usually happens in which causes mental fatigue of fighting against these goddamn devils. You try to just capitulate, you try to conform. Okay? That's Stockholm Syndrome. Okay? Global domination will be sustained through racialized violence. Is this not racialized violence? Right? Hold on. The lie that democracy is predicated on liberty is when the Palestinians and those in the global south, as well as Native Americans, black and brown Americans, not to mention those in the Middle East, which have known this for decades. They have known for decades that the vaunted democratic values, morality, and respect for human rights claimed by Israel and the United States has always been a lie. Okay? So, yeah, that's basically it. The professional fucking victim. They're doing it again. Now, let's go into the least of the flock. Let's go. I think it's let me type it in. Least of... No. Take it back. Let's go back to Psalms. Salakia. Psalms 83, and I'm going to finish reading it. Psalms 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Right? They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Right? Right? We all read Lamentations chapter 2, right? Verse 15 through 17. That's the plan. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, his inheritance on the earth and the living embodiment of the Most High on the earth are his people. Right? The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Selah. Right? Because remember the picture I showed you earlier? Okay, is it up here this way? No, I think it's down this way. Remember that picture I showed you? Where you had America on one side and Egypt was on the other, whipping the same people? Okay, I know y'all seen that picture. I'm just trying to see if I can find it again. Damn, I got so many pictures in here. You know, that upbraids these goddamn Amalekite Khazars and the other people, you know, telling a fucking lie. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing it so long, man. You know, then when you break it down and you explain to the people, they don't get it, right? This is the reason why there's never going to be peace in the so-called Middle East or in Western Asia, right? When he was asked about peace in the Middle East, the late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, stated, "The JOOs will never be able to live here in peace because they left here black but came back white." Okay? So they can continue to push that professional victim and use the Holocaust in order to push racialized violence on all of the people around them that complain, bitch, and whine about their wickedness. Okay? Because they continue to deflect blame, and they also, you know, deflect the responsibility of their actions and push it off on somebody else. Okay? Which allows them to continue to push. What's going on? Oh, Kahala Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, it's 12:44. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. See? So, you know, that's what's happening, man. And then when we try to tell you the truth, shit, you want to get mad? That was a long time ago. That was my great grand. Nobody give a shit about that, man. This picture, okay? The inhabitants of Tyre, the children of Lot, yeah. See, and they still got the Israelites down, being beat to death, right? We were forced to build Egypt. We were forced to build a spiritual Sodom in Egypt, the image of the beast, America, and their wicked cashless society. And if you worship the image of the beast, their cashless society, and willingly participate, that's worship of the image of the beast in their system that they set up. In order to participate willingly, you have to take the mark. And the mark of the beast, radio frequency identification chip. Let me get you that one, because that's what's next. That's the next prophecy that we're waiting on. Now, let's go get what the Edomites said, right? Okay, hold on. Let me see. Where's it say it? Right here? Right here? Okay. There it is. Hold on. Boom. Let me see it. World Economic Forum says central bank digital currencies must be implanted under your skin if you want to participate in society. Okay? If you want to participate, so if you want to worship the image of the beast, okay, you have to have this implanted underneath your skin. Let's get a more clear, concise picture of what the mark of the beast would entail. See, it's a microprocessor or a microchip the size of a grain of rice between your index and thumb, right? Okay, hold on. Let's see if we can find you another picture. Boom. This is all the information that they're going to put on the chip. Okay? Your digital ID, your medical records, your financial compensation. Okay? And all three of these, where the lines point to, pertain to a man. A man was born on the 6th day. Right? Okay? He was born from the dust of the earth on the 6th day. Right? The number of a man. Your medical records. The number of a man. Your digital ID. Where you live. Number of a man. Where you work. How much money you make. Right? See? All pertain to the number of a man. 666. Okay? And then it shows you where the mark of the beast is going to be implanted. Under your skin. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the last prophecy that we're waiting on. right? Here's the last warning. This is the mark of the beast. I cannot repent after having received it. If you put this underneath your skin, you are literally, spiritually, morally, emotionally fucked. Okay? It's just the Son of God is going to destroy you. And this is the unfair disparity that those Amalekite Khazars, they call themselves the JOOs and are not. This is a true depiction of the racial disparity, the financial disparity, differences between God's chosen people and those imposters. Revelation chapter 3 and 9, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are the JOOs and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, the feet of who? The true biblical Israelites. Okay? Right? Got a mixture of what everybody looks like. See? And to know that I have loved thee. Okay? Look at that. Synagogue of Satan. And come on now. That's what's happening, man. And this motherfucker goes down throughout the whole earth, destroying everybody that got anything negative to say about these devils. Okay? Let me see if I can find something else on this devil. Okay? Here's some more dirt. The beginning of the end, right? Washington cannot broker peace negotiations. Hey, hush. Let me shut the door, man. Salakia. Shut up. Hell, no. Wow, man. Goddamn dogs. Anyway. Washington cannot broker peace negotiations on behalf of the Palestinian and Jerusalemite family with the 13th Ish tribe of European Ashkenazi Khazars, who, contrary to Nikki Haley's assertions at the United Nations today, do not carry any biological lineage. Do not carry any biological lineage, no seed, to the original so-called black, brown 12 tribes of Hebrew Israelites, nor can they trace any historical relation to Jerusalem, Palestine. So, like I said before earlier in the video concerning the Balfour Declaration, let's see if I can find that again. Went too far. Let me see. Yep. Let me see. Right? Concerning the Balfour Declaration, right? Let's read the introduction once more time. One of the most important statements of British foreign policy of the 20th century, the Balfour Declaration, was no more than a short, vague letter that had no legal status. So those people are inhabiting that land illegally. It had not been debated in Parliament. Yet it was one of the most significant events leading ultimately to the creation of the State of Israel and conflict between the Jays and the Arabs. Okay? And what they're trying to do basically is they're trying to just bring this about. Okay? Let's get it. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. That's the point. That's the reason why in 1948, the entire region was destabilized by the implantation of those Amalekite Khazars, that the so-called 13th tribe that are not God's chosen people. Like the president of Egypt said, the real Jews left here black and came back white. So there will never be peace in the Middle East. Okay? And who is implementing or who initiates all these wars? Right? Who does that? The professional victims. Right? Political Zionists, the State of Israel. They're the professional victims. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, or spiritual and economical exhaustion. And that's what everybody here has got. They're stuck with spiritual, economical, physical, moral fatigue. They're fatigued mentally, spiritually, financially, economically, socially, everything, right? We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and agent provocateurs, right, to cause all of these protests to destroy everything, right? That way they can implement martial law. And we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, the origin of savagery, and the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization. And the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out into the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. Okay, so there it is. That's the master fucking plan. Okay, that's the royal secret. You know, 32nd degree Freemasons, all of that shit, man. It's right there, biggest shit. That's the plan. To destabilize the central region of that area and destroy everybody around them, in order to make greater Israel. The Ben Gurion River, where they could take over all of the oil, 98% of the world's oil manufacturing from the so-called Middle East, which is Western Asia, okay, and take over the Straits of Hormuz, which is ran by Iran. You see what I'm saying? These devils, boy, I tell you, man, they just, it's amazing, the wickedness of these goddamn devils, man. And then you can see right through it, especially if you got a roadmap that shows you everything that they're doing and what they're up to. These people are playing the professional victim, and they push victimhood on everybody else, right? Okay. The devil, diabolos, adjective, prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely, a calumniator, a false accuser, a slanderer. Metaphor, applied to a man who by opposing the cause of the Most High may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. A traducer, Satan, to overthrow, to defame, of those who disseminate the truth concerning a man, but do so maliciously, insidiously, with hostility, to bring a false charge against someone. See? This is the wickedness of Esau eating the so-called white man. So, without further ado, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rahawah Kakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth to rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.